And Malya, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, we're recording here.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Hanukkah Erotica Book Club podcast. I'm Raizel, and I'm joined by my stepsister and co-host Malya. Hi, Mal.
Hello. Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov. Hi, everybody. Can't wait to chat. A couple things to catch up on before we dive in.
Please, let's catch up.
Well, first thing is, got some good feedback on our last episode, and also I feel like more than most books, this episode was one where people were like, I have to recommend this to my mom. I'm going to recommend, like, people want to either read the book or recommend the book to people who they think would like it.
Totally. I went to a book club where for my shul, where they read The Matchmaker's Gift. And so I shared our hot take that The Matchmaker's Gift was fun, but The Love Elixir was even more fun.
So, oh my God.
So I think I got people, because people liked The Matchmaker's Gift, but I don't think anyone was in love with it. And I think I got people excited about this other
it's
work.
Also a good lesson that, like, you could think a book is good, but maybe not a book good enough to recommend, so you're not even sure you want to read the next book by that author, but then the next book kind of blows you away. It's a good lesson. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like I've had that in both ways, like in both directions, where I've read a book by an author that blows me away, and then I read another book and I'm like, that author wrote this? Yeah.
Yeah, there was this book, The Heart's Invisible Furies. Did you read it?
No.
It was one of those books that my mom was like evangelical about. I loved it.
Oh.
I think the author's name was John Boyne.
Okay.
This is not a Hanukkah Erotica Book Club book.
Sure.
Anyway, I loved it so much. I was so excited to see another book came out. Oh. And I was like, this is upsetting to me. I had to recheck. Is it the same author?
Right.
It was.
And I usually love your mom's recommendations, but I also have something that happened the other way with one of those, which is, did you read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow?
Yeah.
I really liked it, and I read it, and there's another book by the same author that your mom loves, and she was like, oh, if you love that book, you're going to really love this other one. It's amazing. And I read it, and I was like, eh.
Wait, what else
I forget
did
what
you
it
write?
was called, though.
I think I read it. Wait, I really want to find out.
It's a long title. It's like The Storied Life of Someone. There's a name of a person in the title.
AJ She wrote that book?
Yes. That's exactly what I said. I was like,
I'm shocked.
Your mom loves that book,
but
it didn't speak to me personally. It was okay.
My mom would hate Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, though.
Yeah, she didn't even, I told her what it was about. She was like, pass. I was like, yeah.
She knows. Huge pass. Yeah. Way to know that about yourself as a reader.
Yeah,
and
I
also
appreciate
we know that she'd hate that book, but I really liked Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow.
Yeah, me too.
But I also liked The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry. I am shocked that that's the same author.
Right? It's weird. It doesn't sound, I would say I really liked Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, and I was very tepid about the other one.
Right. Wow. Well, this could be a whole spinoff.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can keep going.
About our own authors, I think. Anyway, but the point is, yes, a lot of this one was really, really one to recommend.
Wait, also, the reason that the John Boyne thing is slightly relevant is because he also wrote The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, which everybody read.
I didn't read that.
It's like a Holocaust book, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
Okay.
It's a Holocaust book that I didn't read, okay?
Okay.
But then that other book that came out that I thought I needed to read because I loved The Heart's Invisible Furies so much. I see another book. It was, I guess, a sequel to The Boy in the Striped Pajamas called All the Broken Places. But the reason I didn't like it was like weird. It felt to me like a Nazi apologist book, even though that's not what it was meant to be exactly. But it was about like the daughter of a Nazi.
I see.
And I was just like,
interesting.
I guess it is interesting, but
right.
I don't know.
Yeah. It didn't do it. I get it.
Didn't do it for me.
That's right.
Just like my mom knows that she doesn't want to read about like gamers.
You know you don't want to read the Nazi side of the story.
No, I'm good.
Not
But The Hearts of
interested.
Invisible Furies is one of the greatest books I've ever read.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, I'm going to read it now.
Okay.
Thank you.
More other things happened.
Okay.
Well, I'm drinking a seltzer, this black cherry vanilla Trader Joe's seltzer.
Oh. Black
And
cherry vanilla. Okay.
It's so good. It's so good. I think you'd like it.
That's funny because on Friday night, we went to a dinner at our shul, and they generally don't serve soda at the dinners. But like, I don't know, there's some people who like bring their own soda because they're like such soda drinkers.
Yeah,
They
I
like
often
can't.
am walking around town with a can.
Yeah, so like maybe you'd bring a can to a shul dinner if you knew there wasn't going to be a seltzer you'd like. So this nice couple who sat at our table brought a couple of their own bottles of soda, and one of them was a bottle of cherry Coke.
Oh,
And
wow.
Sammy, who's my son, who's 9, was like, "There's cherry flavored Coke?" And I was like, "Wow, like what a weekend this is for you."
Did he bring his little
And-
tiny, like thin plastic shul cup and ask for a sip?
No, I was like, "Well, I was like, I'm sorry in advance to this couple because my children are going to drink all their soda." Yeah, he drank a big, full, flimsy cup of it and loved it. First time drinking cherry Coke.
I'm so glad the cup was as flimsy as I thought.
Of course, yeah. But anyway, cherry vanilla seltzer sounds good.
It is good. It is. Okay, another huge thing that happened is that this is the month that Gene Meltzer's Jewish Joy box arrived
Right?
to many
It is.
influencers.
I saw some
doorsteps.
opening. I saw she was regramming some opening them.
And you may remember on our podcast, Gene mentioned we will be receiving them.
She did mention that, yes.
So because we sold them. So but
Amazing.
we have enough March boxes that you two will be getting March boxes
Ooh,
now. So
yay!
you will see exactly what we're doing. But the point of the craft.
And I noticed we didn't.
I noticed that too.
Meanwhile, a colleague of mine was like, "Oh my God, Rachel, I subscribed to the Jewish Joy box after your podcast and I got it this month." And I was like, "Funny, you should mention that."
Oh my God, someone subscribed because of the episode? Wow.
Oh, for sure. And my mom, I think.
Oh, that's so nice.
My mom said she was going to, though I almost feel like she didn't, because don't you think she would have mentioned it to us when she received
She would have been
it?
like, "How did you like the stuff in the box that I got also?"
Right.
Yeah,
It's
she didn't mention
unlike
it
my
to
mom
me.
to have received it and not mention it. So I
Yeah.
think she was gonna subscribe, but then didn't.
Right. Like we were
Anyway,
going to receive the box and then didn't.
so Mal, like, I mean, I'm curious what you think we should do. I was, I even checked my sent emails or incoming to make sure, did I miss something? Were we asked for our address and I didn't respond?
Right.
But I didn't see any of that.
Right.
Or were we supposed to click something somewhere?
Right.
Influencers click here. I don't know.
Right. Well, right. We're not so expert at the influencer.
We're not
Game.
influencers, actually.
Right. That's what my first thought was, like, maybe she realized we're not actually influencers.
Right.
I
Although
don't
we
know.
have some
I mean,
influence. We post a book, people buy the book.
listen, you're saying your colleague subscribed to the box. Like, I think that's the definition because of our podcast. I think that is actually
Yes, we have influence.
That's influencing.
So, Jean didn't send it, and it was either an oversight. I think it was probably an oversight.
probably an oversight.
We love Jean. This is all in jest.
Of course.
And, but,
I think
next month,
her I feel like people in her orbit like are always commenting on our posts and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
oh yeah, we could definitely touch base.
Yeah.
Anyway, if anyone's interested in the mystery of the Jewish Joy box and why you didn't see us unboxing it, we didn't receive it. Well, we can get back to you if anyone's curious about what happened there. But we can't wait for Jean's next book. It comes out in Hanukkah, on Hanukkah, and
Yeah, we posted the cover. She
we're gonna
revealed
read
the cover.
it. Beautiful cover.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I love Gene Meltzer, and The Jewish Joy box looks pretty cool. There was a
I
game,
saw-
there was a
yeah, there was a-
book.
All that looked good.
Look good. And also I love that she's spreading Jewish joy.
Yeah, she's really planning that conference, it seems like. Yeah, lots happening. It's great.
Now I'm skeptical about us speaking there.
Right, I think our involvement is definitely in question at this point. But, I'm sure it'll be cool nonetheless.
Regardless, it was a great episode.
It was. We got a lot of
anyway,
good feedback.
but here the thing is, like, it was a great episode. Loved having Jean on. In general, we, mostly this podcast is just you and I say that because tonight we're reading a book, and I saw the author repost the cover of this book, and I commented from our account saying we're covering this book on our next episode, and then she reached out and said, I'd be happy to come on. Then the woman who wrote Pride and Parnassa.
Oh, yeah. Pride and Preference. Oh,
Pride
really?
and
She reached
Preference.
out?
She recently reached out and said, I didn't realize you were reading it. Or she commented on an old post. I didn't realize you were reading this. I would have been happy to participate. But the thing is, mostly we don't have episodes with the authors.
Right.
And every now and then we'll reach out to someone, but we're just so excited that you wrote the book and that you're writing more. And sometimes we have a question every now and then, but most of the time it's just us.
Totally.
I don't want anyone to feel bad. We're excited to read the books.
Yeah. And we like to, just sometimes it's better to just sort of leave things to the reader and not necessarily, it's all about our interpretation and leaving some things, to mystery.
Totally.
And we get to give our more unvarnished opinions, which I think I appreciate, and I think others do too.
Agreed. Anything else you wanted to cover before we go into crunching her numbers?
I think I'm ready for crunching her numbers.
Are you, though?
I mean, as ready as I'll ever be.
Crunching her numbers. A reverse age gap steamy romance in the series Women of Tel Aviv by Mia Sivan is unlike anything we've read.
Right.
I think it's our first book set in Israel.
Yeah, I think you're right.
By the way, do you know old house sounds?
No.
Like that out of nowhere, like when a sound, there's weird sounds that an old house makes. It's just
Oh, sure.
right
I
now.
know when you said old house sounds, I thought you were referring to another podcast. But yes, I know the concept.
Anyway,
yes.
there was just major old house sounds, like the radiator or something happening, and I'm sure that William's going to pick up on the audio. So I just want to let you guys know. There's really weird old house sounds happening. Okay.
We have clanking steam heaters always.
Yeah, exactly. First in Israel. We've had scenes in Israel. This was the first release set in Israel.
Right. The whole thing was not all in
This is
Tel
our first
Aviv,
Israeli
based in
book.
Tel Aviv. Yeah.
See, this is a book where, more than having Mia Sivan come on, I'd be, curious what, Sarah Tuttle Singer thinks of this book as someone who, lives in Israel.
Right. Totally. Right. It did feel like it was really trying to, paint what modern day Israel is like. It had,
Right.
sort of all the archetypes, kind of. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I want to start off by just saying the names. Right off the bat, you have, Matan, Ilan, Tomer.
Yeah. Everyone has
names.
a classic name. Yeah. Even Slava is, the ultimate, Russian immigrant name.
Right. Yeah, totally. Kelly, I thought was cool. So Kelly is our main character, and I don't know many Kellys in Israel, but then later in the book, it comes up that she is from Argentina, and her name was Raquel, and Kelly is a nickname for Raquel, which I thought was really cool. My name in Spanish was Raquel in Spanish class.
Cute.
And then I was in Argentina, where I was for 6 months in college.
I remember.
Anyway, the names. I loved all the names. Yariv, just every single one was just.
Yeah. There's a lot of classics. Ayala.
There were so many. I was I can't keep track of all these people.
There were a lot of people. To be honest, the whole financial subplot,
Oh my, yes.
I glazed over a bit.
Wait, but the thing is, I was going to ask you for some clarity on that. Now I see we have none.
I can't provide clarity. Cannot
Okay,
provide
so
clarity.
basically, this book is set in the world of finance, office stuff, the corporate world, but not like corporate, like finance.
Yeah, like
Not just
trading, like
I have no clue. The way that my brain doesn't process,
no.
even just like, oh no clue. So I don't. There was a Elon. So Kelly works there. Kelly works at some company. I don't know what.
Kelly's like a high-powered. I think she's like a high-powered trader, right? Like she's a high-powered
or like
finance
investor, money manager.
Yeah, right. But she's trading. I mean, she's trading to make money for her clients.
Okay, and there's a bunch of people at the office.
Bunch of people at the office.
And there's some like kind of like maybe she's being put down for being a woman a little bit every now. There's some condescension.
But also she's like I feel like she's like a boss lady. You know what I mean? She's not taking anyone's shit. She's like a top trader. She's right. Isn't that the vibe?
That's the vibe. And also she's Israeli, but and Argentinian. So she's like really rough, like sharp edges.
Yeah. She's no, she's not a shrinking violet. Like she's
no.
She gets into it.
Okay. But then this guy Elon comes in, and Elon's older, a father of two. I don't know when it comes up that he's a father of two, but Elon's an older father of two. Oh, wait, that reminds me. Did you see my post on Instagram that I saw Mensch Lumber and I tagged and said,
oh my God, yeah, that was
did
hilarious.
you like it?
It's giving Elon. That was amazing, yeah.
But also, wasn't it very William of me?
That was very William, totally. So
Did he like
actually
it?
thought that. He loved it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Aviva
to like
Blakeman
notice a
liked
little
it.
bit. She liked it. That was great. That's the ultimate compliment.
Mensch Lumber.
Mensch Lumber. That's really funny.
Yeah, it's giving Elon. But anyway, here's another Elon.
Another Elon. But also, wait, another thing to know about maybe I did absorb more of the financial
a lot more than I did.
you
Keep going. Tell us more.
Okay, so Kelly's best friend has married like a billionaire who's the biggest, I think, client of her firm. And he insists that she manage all his money. So she sees her, so she's a little bit like untouchable because she like she's in the biggest client only wants to work with her and is like her longtime best friend's husband.
Like
John?
Ayala or something?
Ayala's husband. Is his name John?
I don't know.
I don't know. Who heard of an Israeli named John? I don't even know what that means.
We'll have to see. I have to see.
Well,
because
anyway,
this
okay,
comes up
so
later in my notes.
There's
I don't know. I have a lot of
significant
names
characters.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of names, but anyway, you do know a lot more about what happened in the world of finance than I did. I felt very confused, and it was making me laugh, like the way that I didn't understand any of the historical plot points of Felicia. Yeah. Anyway,
I just felt like it was a little too intricate. Like for a book like this, like isn't the finance plot like the equivalent of like a guy, like the pizza delivery guy knocking on the door? Like, isn't it just supposed to be a setup for the
no, because
set?
the thing is, like, I think that people liked the details in this book. I'm going to read you some Amazon reviews later, okay?
Okay.
I don't know. I agree. Is it just that, like, this is the setup to, like, all the sex and the love triangle and, like, the kink that comes later? Yes, but
That's
feel
what
like
it seemed like. And
maybe
that's why I
this
felt
was-
like it was too much finance. Like, we get it.
But some of the people were like, I couldn't put it down. And, like, they were so engrossed by the plot that this was compelling. Like, for me, who doesn't understand finance,
Right.
it was harder for me. But also, like, sports romances are big, and hockey romances, baseball romances, this, that, and then there's all this detailed about the sports.
Right. You're right. Right.
People like
Okay.
the sports part. I
Right.
don't.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
But I like
Right.
the Tel Aviv part.
Love the Tel Aviv part.
Right? So now that we're in Tel Aviv, she's catching the bus, there's the beach, there's her neighborhood, her building, all this stuff. She's on her way to her apartment. Her masseuse is there before her because she has this standing appointment with this younger guy who's a masseuse named Slava.
Slava. Right.
Have
He's
I
like
said
in his-
everything?
I think you have. You didn't, yeah, Slava's like in his 20s. He's a Russian immigrant to Israel. He like came on his own. Then his mom came. He like did the army alone. I feel like he's also like, that's like an Israeli archetype, like the Russian, like the young Russian immigrant.
Yes. Lone soldier.
Right. And he's her masseuse, whatever.
Yeah. Yes.
He gives her massages.
He does.
Right.
He's her bodywork person.
Exactly.
And he's really good, I think.
Seems like she
That
seems like
massage
the
scene-
type who gets the best. Like she's in like a very upscale Tel Aviv neighborhood. She works late. She has a beautiful apartment. If she has like a standing appointment with a body worker who comes to her apartment, he's gonna be like top notch.
Yeah. Yeah. Slava's the best. Okay.
Those big Russian hands, you know?
Yeah. Slava had traditional Slavic features. Slava had traditional Slavic features.
Okay.
Blonde hair cropped into a crew cut and wide-set light blue eyes. Not her usual type. He was basketball player tall, probably around 2 meters, with broad shoulders and huge hands. There they are. Those
Right.
are the hands you were talking about.
That's what I said.
Kelly was always amazed by the gentle touch that these large paws had.
How old
They
is
were-
Kelly?
How old is Kelly?
Did it ever say? I missed that if
I
it did.
feel that it didn't, but I think she's in her 30s. Like, Elon's older than her. Slava's younger. She's
Okay.
in her 30s.
Okay. Sorry, I cut you off.
Kelly was always amazed by the gentle touch that these large paws had. They were now going down her thighs toward her calves, the movement feeling sensual as if he were caressing her. He traveled back upwards toward her butt, the only part of her which was covered, his large body radiating warmth onto her bare waist, his breath gliding down her spine. Kelly nearly groaned out loud. Anyway, a lot more is about to happen, which is that she turns around and she sees a pronounced bump tenting his loose yoga pants.
Loose yoga pants?
I can't picture what those are. That's like a mistranslation from Hebrew to English. What are his
Right.
loose yoga pants? Sweats?
What would that
what's he
even mean?
wearing?
I imagine sweats.
Yoga pants are tight.
Right.
Is he in
Loose
sweats?
yoga
Joggers?
pants?
Joggers?
What is that? It's like a karate outfit? Like what?
I don't know. She wasn't
Okay.
imagining it. He had been touching her as a man. Kelly smiled to herself. What had she heard about men with large hands? Maybe he was her type. Anyway, okay. I don't know if we
Right.
should do the TLDR version of this, but basically, she propositions him to not just be intimate,
Right.
for her, I mean, content warning, trigger warning, for her to be the dom in a BDSM relationship where he would be the submissive.
Right.
No
And that
kissing.
they would like keep their standing massage appointments, but then it would like after the massage would be the like session of whatever.
And that would
dominant,
not be for
submissive.
money, very clearly.
Of course.
No
yes,
money
yes.
exchange.
Right.
She's paying for the massage. That is a separate service
Yeah. Right.
than all the
Clear.
other servicing.
Right. Clearly. No gray lines there.
None.
No.
And he accepts,
Sure.
and she is very dominant. This is considered to be a light DSM book,
Okay.
which I was curious your take on that.
Well, I mean, I was a little bit comparing it to 8 Kinky Nights just because that's the well, no, we also read Craving Flight. Those are our BDSM
Yes,
books.
you know what? You haven't read The Siren, but I don't know if that wasn't Jewish, was it? Maybe it was. Okay, yeah, keep going.
Okay, so that's my BDSM. Those are my reference points. I felt like, yeah, I see this as light because there was no like real pain being inflicted. You know what I mean? There wasn't which
Okay, you're right.
happened in 8 Kinky
Okay.
Nights.
Okay, you're right that it was light in that way, but it was the sex was there was a lot of sex. It was very
There's sure
erotic.
Yes, a lot of sex. Yes, agreed. But it didn't feel so BDSM-y. It just felt like slightly kinky sex.
Right. Okay. Well, they're doing what they're doing.
Yes.
And they're coming all the time. They're having a great time.
Yeah, it's all
Orgasms left and
working.
right.
Absolutely. But also, I think Slava's like really in love with her.
Yes. But something's happening for her too.
Yeah. She really, I mean, oh, right. He comes with her also on a trip. They go to Crete, which have you been to Crete? I'm not even sure where Crete is.
Is it in Greece?
Sounds like it. It's off Greece.
Yeah, let's find that out. It's either
Anyway,
yes,
she
I
goes
don't
to
think I have
Crete
been.
for like some finance related trip, which I'm not clear on exactly why there'd be a finance trip to Crete, but whatever. And he comes with her, which is like a little bit like, again, blurring the lines because it's kind of like a more relationship-y thing to do. And they really like each other. Like they're enjoying each other's company. Like they had a nice romantic trip together.
Right, but it's blurring lines for her. They had this arrangement. Also, there's
Right.
the age thing. Also, there's like a social class thing.
Yeah, right. Because she's like this high-powered finance woman, and then at some point also like he lives with his mom. Slava lives with his mom, who like he brought over from Russia years after he came, and then somehow his mom fortuitously is like there when Kelly's best friend, Ayala, who's like the wife of the billionaire, is having some kind of like childcare emergency. And they're like, oh, why doesn't Slava's mom be your nanny? She's great. And like the kids like immediately fall in love with her and so Slava's mom becomes Kelly's best friend's nanny.
Right.
So like more blurred lines because now like she's, this is basically like her family and now his family
It's
is
all
connected to her
enmeshed.
family. It's a big jumble. Yeah.
It's all enmeshed.
Right.
Meanwhile, there's something happening between her and Elon. Who's Elon? Elon is a person who shows up to the company seeming like he wants to be a client of hers, but really he's a private investigator.
He's a private investigator who's like investigating corruption in this finance firm.
Okay.
With the like idea that they're gonna like blow the whistle and let whatever the Israeli equivalent of like the SEC is, but there's basically like some version of insider trading going on.
And that's what he's there for.
He's there to like to investigate and get the dirt on what's going on.
But also he's really into Kelly.
Right.
And so is she.
She's into him, yeah.
Okay. So then, even though this whole BDSM relationship is happening with Slava,
Right.
something begins to happen with Kelly and Elon.
Right. And Kelly, I think, sees Elon as more of like an actual real possibility to have a real relationship with. Like, he's also sort of like in the same social class as her. He's older. He's a dad. Oh, and another thing about Kelly is that she has some condition where she can't have children, she says. So, like, he's already a dad. That won't be an issue. She just sees him as more of like a realistic partner.
Right. But then turns out he's a dom.
Right.
And wants her to be his sub. And he starts taking her to all these Israeli BDSM parties that seem like it's straight out of Eyes Wide Shut.
Right. And she's not really into it. Like, she's... Like,
a couple things are hilarious. One,
Yes.
his like BDSM look is like just a black t-shirt. And there's like a joke about like something about like you look like you're dressed for a funeral, and it's like nobody wears black to a funeral in Israel, which is hilarious because like have you been to weddings? You had a wedding in Israel, of course,
Right.
your own wedding. Weddings and funerals in Israel are like so casual and there's like jeans everywhere, so I thought that made me laugh, where it was like nobody
is
wears
funny.
black to a funeral in Israel.
Right.
But yeah, like he has like a outfit he wears. It's like a pair of jeans and a black tee. He takes her to parties. And also, like, at these parties, like, people are meant to, like, address him by sir. Only some people only speak if their dom lets them speak. And then she starts talking to people because she's allowed to speak. She's one of the subs who's allowed to speak without his permission. And then and then someone's like, oh, you're Elon's girlfriend. I used to be Elon's girlfriend. This always happens. This always happens in these books and shows and movies. The
Right,
former
right.
sub, the
And
former
she's like, I
sub.
thought I was the only one.
Right.
You know, she's like, she's not trusting. She doesn't trust Elon fully. Like, she senses that he's withholding or he's not telling her the full truth. She's very suspicious of him. That's through the whole time.
Right. Which makes sense because he's a private investigator, Dom, in a BDSM relationship with his financial advisor.
I don't think she's actually his financial advisor. But right, I mean, they are supposed to be working together. I think she is supposed to be the whistleblower. See, this is where I get sketchy with the, like,
Oh,
when
got it.
she's talking to Elon and, like, it comes out that she knows something or realizes something about how the trades are sketchy in some way, but I couldn't tell you for the life of me what that way is.
Okay. Some of the reviewers on Amazon definitely know.
Yeah, they know. And I'm happy for them. I do not.
Okay. Okay. So there's all sorts of sex happening with Elon, and there's all sorts of sex happening with Slava. A couple of
Right.
things that I did like about this book, and a review on Amazon was also saying this, like the tone and tenor of this book is like not rom-com-y, but it's not like angsty.
Right.
And I like that even though it's a romance, there's like these two relationships happening. It's
Right.
unusual. It's different than things we've seen. Like, I guess there's a lot of
Totally.
love triangle books, and we haven't read that many of them.
Right. The thing is that
But-
she seems to just be it's not really, I guess it is a little bit of a love triangle, but it's also like for her, she's really enjoying both of these relationships at the same time.
I know, I was thinking that it's like more than a love triangle. It's like she's just having her cake and eating it too. She's in two relationships.
Right. Which to me sounds exhausting, but I also think it's like these relationships are neither of them are like full on relationships. They're basically just
Okay, but
sex.
did you read till the end?
Of course.
Okay, because I know what you mean.
At
But
this
also they
point
were-
that we've at this point,
Yes.
like I
Yes.
understand Slava, like to me, and I understand in light of the end, but whatever. I just thought that Slava, like his love for her is like puppy love. Like he's like a boy. He sees her, she's like this accomplished, together, successful woman. He's just like in awe of her and thinks she's sexy and great. I don't feel like he really knows her. And I also don't feel like Elon really knows her. But that's what I get about the book. It's not a rom-com, but it's also like they're not really going there.
They're not going there.
Right.
But I think that's more. I feel like maybe they are off page or something. I feel
Yeah,
like that's more
maybe.
about the writing and less about their relationships.
I hear you.
Like they were in Crete.
Right. So they were in Crete. Right. So they had time to bond. I guess I feel like a lot of the Jewish romances we've read, maybe because they're Jews, they like spend just as we hear them talking. We hear them like making emotional reveals. We hear them philosophizing. Like we hear them, I don't know. We hear those connections forming. I didn't feel like we really got that here.
Yes, but they were just there.
Right.
And I agree with you, even more so with Elon.
Right. Because the whole time she's like kind of wants more from him. He's withholding. She's suspicious.
And I remember thinking, what do you want more of?
Totally. Right.
Why?
Right.
What's so compelling here?
Right. Besides
But
the
maybe
okay,
part
you
of
have
it
a
was like the
sexual
type of
connection.
sex they were having.
I guess, but wasn't the whole thing that they weren't so compatible? Like she wasn't really so into being submissive.
Right. Okay, so in this part, he's the dom, she's the sub, so she's like a switch now. Now she's taking on this whole other role. It's not really the role she's comfortable in, but kind of wants.
Right.
Okay.
This part reminded me a little bit of I didn't read oh my God, 50 Shades of Grey,
Yes.
but I feel like this is what that book was like without having read it.
Yeah, the
like-
book was about the grooming of this girl to become a sub.
I see. With the like he would send her like after they would have like one of their sessions, he would send her these extravagant gifts and like
Yes.
tell her how brave she had been, which like I don't know, that's weird to me. Like what brave, what is brave? In what sense?
Yeah, that she took it. I don't know. It's all, I don't know.
But there was okay, whatever, fine. And then like he was talking about aftercare, which we learned about from A Kinky
Oh,
Nights.
yes, we learned about that.
There was aftercare going on.
I think there always has to be aftercare going on in these BDSM books because I think it's a big part of the whole, thing. Anyway, also, why is the case? Okay, whatever. So there's two relationships.
Yep.
There's all this different. There's all these different dynamics.
Right.
Tel Aviv is definitely a character in the book.
Totally. And I really loved that. There was some good food. Like there was like some nice, just like Israeli fare, I felt like the bread and the cheese and the cut up vegetables. Like that like Israeli breakfasty type food was very vivid to me. And I love that. So that was very fun.
I love it too. Like the idea that like the two of them, like Slav and her, were just like after something, were like decided to make something to eat together. And like immediately one of them just like starts chopping a cucumber.
Totally. Love it.
It's like very Israeli.
Yeah.
And like literally here.
You can't have a meal without a chopped cucumber.
No. But like literally just like in like a non-Israeli home or like a home, like just like, or I mean, other Middle Eastern cultures, I'm sure chop a lot of cucumbers, but like the idea that like you've just had sex, now it's time to eat something.
Let's chop a cucumber.
If you're just like in the middle of like some random, college in America and someone's just like chopping a cucumber, literally the girl will go and be like, and then he chopped a cucumber.
Right, that would be like
What?
insane. Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally,
so like, yeah,
but
I
it was
agree
normal,
with you. Just
yeah.
like the Israeli lifestyle.
Yeah.
Although this whole world to me of like the Israeli lifestyle in the finance world, because like at least I know like about like high tech stuff in Israel.
Right.
So like if there's going to be an industry that's something I've at least had awareness of for 20 something 30 years.
Sure.
But
No, this is totally like they kept being like, well, eventually the Israel Securities Authority is going to get wind of this. And I was like, there's an Israel Securities Authority? Like,
what?
Totally foreign to me.
Also, your perception of like it's like I've only obviously ever been there on vacation. I mean, I guess there was a summer that was like kind of in school, but like really I'm there vacationing.
Sure.
So like the idea that anyone's working,
Right, like
and also no one ever looks like they're working that much there.
totally. Tel Aviv is so like you just feel like everyone's at a cafe.
The beach, there's
everyone's out
yoga
at the
mats, everyone has
yeah. Totally.
They're eating a sandwich, they're having a coffee. I don't know. There's so many.
Yeah.
Seems like there's nothing but time.
Totally. But that might just because we're always on vacation, so we do have a lot of time.
100%.
Right. And also, I think in any city, it's like, I feel like that in Park Slope also. If like I'm like on a random Tuesday at like 10, I go in a coffee shop, it's full. I'm like, who
are
is
all
everyone?
these people?
Right.
Who are these people? What is happening right now?
Yeah. But I just think that's what cities are. There's like all kinds of people living all different lifestyles. So that makes sense. But yeah.
But definitely people are having a lot of leisure time in Israel. Anyway, but the financing, that was totally different. I love Tel Aviv, and I love Tel Aviv as like really a character in this book. And also because these aren't like, they're secular Israelis. And so like, they even like made a joke once about they were like eating some kind of treif and made a joke about it.
Yeah.
Like she was raised in Argentina. Like she was raised in Argentina, not in a kosher home. Like the food that they're eating isn't.
Right.
But it's still like there's something about a lot of it that just like feels like we said, just like Israeli.
Yeah, they're using Hebrew expressions, which even in the translation they keep, and everything is like this is gonna happen, but Rosh Hashanah's coming. The whole cadence is like around the Jewish holidays. So they're like, we have the break between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Like instead of their Christmas break, it's like the Rosh Hashanah break. Like
right, because that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Which is fun to be reminded that that's the case, even in like such a secular, like that Israel is like that. It's just like that's the culture.
Yeah, it's like my sister Gal used to tell me that on Yom Kippur, like the highways are empty, so they used to walk like just like walk on the highway.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Okay, so there's some breakups, there's some heartache, there's some devastation.
Yes, it's like Elon. Well, okay, so what I understood about the finance plot is that the whole scandal like breaks, like the Israel Securities Authority, or if that is a real thing, raids raids the office where she works, and like, you know, is investigating a whole bunch of people for fraud. And it happened like while Elon is out of the country and she can't reach him. And somebody like you later find out, whatever, somebody says like, oh yeah, I passed on your messages to him, but he hasn't called you back. And she just like is like, he abandoned me, at this key moment, and is not reachable and whatever. And this kind of like confirms my worst fears that he's like not really there for me. He just kind of wants this very specific limited relationship. And then also her whole life is kind of over because her company like now has fired her because everyone knows she was like the whistleblower, and they're like, you'll never work in this town again type thing. And
Yeah.
now she's just like, what's left for me here? Yeah. So she's like having a whole crisis. Oh, and then there's that whole scene. Wait, are we going to talk about this scene?
Oh,
There was what I thought kind of crazy scene where, so at the height of all this, Elon's not around. She feels like he betrayed her. She got fired. Her whole life is falling apart. So, oh, I'm sorry. At some point earlier, she had broken up with Slava because Elon wanted to be exclusive with her. And she really saw a future with him because he just seemed like a more realistic partner. So she breaks it off with Slava. He's devastated
devastated.
because he really loves her, but he accepts it because he's just like a sweet guy. And so then when she's like in so much turmoil and thinks Elon has abandoned her, she calls Slava, and they have this kind of like torrid night of like drinking and sex, and like there's a butt plug involved. Right? Am I missing anything important?
You are not, and I'm loving that you were just outlining this plot. Keep going. You're doing
There's
a
a butt-
fantastic job.
Okay, there's a butt plug involved. They're using it. And then at the height of all that,
There's a
somehow-
blindfold also.
thank you, there's a blindfold and a butt plug that she's using on him, right? Okay.
Yes, even though previously Elon had used it on her.
Oh, wow. Okay. Hope there was some sanitizing that happened in between those things. But
That was how I read it.
right.
Or maybe she
okay.
just got the idea for it, but I don't think she went to buy one.
Yeah. Why? I mean, that seems wasteful. So while he's blindfolded and plugged and all this, Elon has somehow gotten the message, like is back and realizes like that she thought that he had betrayed her or wasn't there, and like feels terrible and rushes to her apartment to like, apologize and be there for her, unlocks the door and like finds Slava and Kelly in the midst of all this. And like, what does he do? He basically like goes in and like pulls her off of him, like right at the height of everything. And then she's like, get out of here. I hate you. I have to like, what does she do? She tells everyone to get out. I don't even remember. I think she tells them both to get out.
Wait, I thought the opposite happened, and that like he kissed her and they were having this whole physical thing where they were like, he was kissing her while she was on top of Slava.
Yeah. No, I think that you're right. But then I think
I
it all
thought
goes.
they were like
doesn't it all
having
go
a threesome
south
Slava
quickly?
didn't know about, which seems unethical.
Right.
Because Slava
I
was
think you're right.
blindfolded and didn't realize that he was now in a threesome.
I think you're right. But I think it didn't last. Like, I think very quick. I think he kissed her. There was a little bit of a hint, like it could have gone that way. But then I think she gets very angry and cuts it off.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. It was an insane scene.
It was an intense scene for sure.
Okay, but then it all ends really abruptly. She kicks everyone out, especially Elon.
Yes.
But one of them, like, stays on the steps the whole night to make sure she was okay.
Right. Which one was that? I don't even remember.
It
seems like more of a Slava thing to do.
I think Elon,
really?
because doesn't he know that? Because someone in Slava's family saw him in the building.
Maybe that's right. Oh yeah, because Slav is very angry too because he's like, "What are like? You just called me for one night to use me."
Right.
Right.
So it, fast forwards.
Yep.
There's a
she
reconciliation.
yeah, she goes back to Argentina. She reconnects with her family. That's a whole thing. But then she decides to come back.
I'm in the chapter of the crazy scene,
Okay.
verifying what we've said.
Great. And
I don't know that I could read any of this out loud.
it was pretty that was the least light of the light BDSM.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm open to you reading it out loud, but I don't want to read it out loud, so I understand if you wouldn't either.
I don't know that I can. Also, it's like I feel so bad Slava didn't know what was happening. They're like fighting, he's confused.
And he
She's
thought
like,
that
"You're
like they were
disgusting, I
having a
hate
real
you.
Yes.
I wish I'd never met you. I'm tired of your excuses and stories. At the end of the day, you never really wanted a relationship. You just wanted me to give up Slava because you're jealous, you jerk." Her face was tear-streaked and deathly pale. "You took everything from me, everything. My job, my Slava, my career. I don't ever want to see you again. Get out of my house now, or I swear to God, I'll call the police now." She was trembling from cold or nerves. He couldn't tell. No, it was shock. She was trembling from shock. He shouldn't leave her alone like this, yet he had no option but to walk out. She followed, still naked, to make sure he left. Once again, her door slammed shut. This time, he was on the other side of it. Elan stood undecided. He heard steps and a glass breaking, and he fumbled for the keys again. Then he heard Kelly's voice through the door, hoarse but clear. "Ayala, yes, it's me. I need you. Please come over." Elan retreated to the stairway and sat on the landing, waiting. That's what he was waiting on the stairs, making sure she was okay.
Okay.
Slava stumbled blindly down towards the sea. He was trying not to look drunk along the beach because he didn't want to get arrested and deported.
Deported?
Yes, it said something like that. He didn't want
Isn't
to
he a
get
citizen?
No, he was, it said something about why he was trying to act sober. He was afraid.
Oh, wow. I missed that.
Well, I might be elaborating. Embellishing, I mean.
Sure. You're entitled.
Anyway, he's in a ton of pain. She goes to Argentina to nurse her broken heart.
Yep. Also,
To
she
get
can't
nursed back
afford
to
her
life
apartment.
by her mom.
Right.
And she's poor.
Right.
I liked it in these books. Like, these people go from being the richest person in Israel to having no money.
Totally,
It's
in like
it's
a minute.
Yeah, but like it makes me laugh. It's like when whatever Prince and Meghan Markle were like becoming not royal and people were like worried about them, and I heard somebody be like, "What do you think they're going to be in a 2-bedroom in Tulsa? Like they're going to be fine." She should be okay.
Yeah.
But she's not.
She
Tel
shouldn't
Aviv's
be
super
in-
expensive. She's not.
Right.
Anyway.
She shouldn't be in immediate financial crisis. Like that doesn't really make sense. But whatever.
Right. But okay, she can't afford her rent.
She was house poor.
So basically, fast forward. There's a reconciliation.
Right.
She ends up getting married to. Any guesses, listeners? Which one do you think she married? Who do you think she married? Were you surprised?
No, I was not surprised. I kind of felt like she was leaning toward this person the whole time. And I was also rooting for this person.
Yeah. Well, why were you rooting? It was Slava. She married Slava.
Thank you. Right. Not only marries Slava, she like comes back from Argentina like with a purpose, like hunts Slava down and is like, "I love you. Let's get married. Like you're the only one for me."
Yes.
Very like kind of has like this sweeps him off his feet. Like it's sort of like a reverse gender. Like I feel like traditionally it would be a guy who would do that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Which
she
I thought was
comes
cool.
back
Yeah.
in the grand gesture.
Exactly. Right. She makes the grand gesture.
So they are together. It fast forwards time, maybe a year ahead.
Right.
And they're together and love each other.
Right.
But I guess Slava feels that she still misses him
Yes.
in some way.
Right. She like, well, there's that whole scene. Like Elan, like a creep, is like lurking outside of her apartment on some regular interval, like because he's not over her, I guess, and is still sort of like,
Keeping tabs.
keeping tabs, and
But
Slava,
instead
like,
of Instagram, like a normal creep, he's literally outside of her house.
well, he's a private investigator. I guess that's his comfort zone.
Yeah, ick.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm not an Elon fan. I'm Team Slava.
Yeah, me too.
But then Slava must have like become aware of it. Elon was doing this regular lurking, comes out and kind of confronts him. But instead of being like, get away, she's mine or whatever, he's like, I know she still misses you. I see her like touching the
Drift
jewelry
off into the distance.
yeah, touching the jewelry you got her. One time she called me your name during sex. Didn't he say that?
Yeah.
So Slava kind of proposes, like, what if you and her still have that like, what about rekindling that relationship? We'll still be married, but you can still like have your own thing going on, basically.
Yes. And the book ends that they're in some kind of throuple. She
Right.
fully is having her cake and eating it too.
Elon like buys the apartment in the top of the penthouse in their building. So he's literally like, whenever he calls her, she can just ride the elevator on up and then right back on down to her husband.
Yeah. Ride Elon, ride Slava, ride the
Right.
elevator.
Lots of riding. Right.
And that's how it ends. She's
That's
with
how it
them
ends.
all. She's married to Slava. She's doing it with Elon.
And
She
she's
has-
contemplating a threesome with both of them, but has not done that yet. Although at the end, you could choose to download a free steamy epilogue. I did not make that choice. I don't know if you did,
I didn't.
but I suspect that the steamy epilogue might involve a threesome scene.
You know what? That's really, you've great foresight. That's a great prediction.
Yeah.
Thank you for reading Crunching Her Numbers. If you want to find out how Kelly, Slava, and Elon's relationship has evolved over the past year, join my Readers Club and read their super spicy epilogue. The Women of Tel Aviv book series. The next one is analyzing her assets and pulling her resources. Honestly, I'm going to read them all. They're all on Kindle Unlimited. There's nothing stopping me from understanding more about the sexy sex life in Israel.
Tel Aviv.
A side of Israel I never thought about.
Right.
The BDSM parties in Israel. Finance I could do without, but now I know it's there.
Yeah, and all these titles sound kind of financial. Like, do you think they're all have like a?
I don't know.
This
I'm just
setting?
I don't know. I'll black out for that part. Hopefully there's no sex in the office. It'll make it hard for me to be able to pay attention to those scenes.
Right. Pulling her resources. Isn't it? What is
Polling?
I thought it was pooling.
Pooling?
I
Pooling.
thought it's like you pool your resources. Like you have resources, I have resources, we pool them. I never heard of pulling your resources. Is
It's
that a
supposed
pun?
to be pulling. It's like a pun, like pulling her hair, maybe?
Oh, I see. Pulling her resources. Okay. Cool.
Okay, here's the thing about this book. If you're horny for BDSM,
Yeah.
if you like the finance stuff,
If you love Tel Aviv and it's a
if
sexy
you love
city.
Tel Aviv, and it's on Kindle Unlimited, there's nothing stopping our listeners from reading this.
Totally.
It's very, very horny and hot.
Yes.
High steam.
Very high steam.
One of the
Very.
steamiest books we've read, I think maybe the steamiest.
I'm
I know I
trying to
make
think.
grand kind of, proclamations about our books. This book.
It was very. I'm
It's-
trying to think if anything else competes with it. I really don't think so.
No. Because
Yeah,
even in
yeah.
like eight nights of kink or eight kinky nights, it's like too scientific to feel steamy.
Right. It's giving you too much of a breakdown. Like it's almost like a primer into the world, and it kind of so it's not as sexy.
Yeah,
It's more
for
right.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. Some Amazon reviewers loved this book.
Great.
And I had to read some of Not view of Israel and new view of Israel and Tel Aviv. I love books with great settings, and good ones are so hard to find. This exceeded my expectations. Having never been to Israel, I'm not sure what my view of Israel ever was, but this wasn't it. Imagine never having been to Israel and now this is your view. It's hilarious. I love my new vision of Israel given by Mia Sivan in Crunching Her Numbers. It was so sophisticated, often elegant and somewhat regal, but with a flair of something subdued. The setting always lent a mystery of intrigue. The throuple concept was very different than most, a new and refreshing perspective. The plot seemed to pause at points while the subplot took over, so much so that I could hardly tell which was which, and it felt kaleidoscopic. While not dark, it was also not rom-commy, that's what I was saying, and not heavily angsty. What's the word when you steal someone's thoughts? Anyway, I did that to this review.
This is a very well-written review also.
Oh, I know. Some of these Amazon reviewers are incredible writers and just
what
need
are
to
they
start
doing?
writing.
They're drafting these reviews? This is crazy.
Yeah, they are drafting. These reviews are great. You've heard Goodreads reviews? They're essays, they're book reports, they're
But all the
research.
adjectives and the synonyms.
It just flowed like a moderate stream, lulling me in. It was pretty brilliant, but also pretty and brilliant. That's a gorgeous sentence. I would call this literature, and it might just be the first book I read twice just to appreciate. Edmund Ironside. There's so much I agree with in this review, and so much I don't. Literature. This was to me. When you call something literary, it feels different than this. Okay.
I don't think literature has extended scenes of the butt plugs.
Most literature doesn't have extended scenes of butt plugs that have been in multiple tushies.
Right. Regal. That sounds so regal to me.
A Fabulous Steamy Romance Full of Intrigue by Joe Conklin. This was a fabulous read. The author brings a diverse city of Tel Aviv to life as a backtrack to the steamy romance about financial trading scandals, intrigue, and the global immigrant experience. With well-researched and realistic BDSM and polyamory rep, the story brings the heat in a big way, but it also makes the complex world of financial trading and investigation accessible and interesting to readers with no background in finance. The characters are beautifully developed, with unique voices that jump off the page. We see them all as real people in their different strengths and vulnerabilities and root for all three right to the very end. Last one. Can I read you one more? Kimberly
Please.
Hunt. 10 things. I'm not sure I have the sentences to coherently express my appreciation for this novel, so here are my fragments in a 10 Things I Love About Crunching Her Numbers by Mia Sivan.
Wow.
1. Tall, smart heroine. 2. High steam. 3. Heartfelt vulnerability. 4. Non-traditional relationship. 5. Diversity. 6. Classy, light BDSM. Is it classy?
Classy.
7. Excellent wallowing. There was a lot of wallowing.
Oh, yeah, totally.
8. Feel good HEA, meaning feel good happily ever after. 9.
Yeah.
Indie author. And 10. Available in Kindle Unlimited.
Great. Wow.
I don't disagree.
The classy part, it's a stretch to me, but I hear
This
what
book
they're
wasn't
saying.
classy, but everything else is really there.
Right.
The BDSM wasn't classy, although maybe it was classy. The party was classy, and maybe her and Slava were classy versus like something yucky or sinister in any way.
I feel like anyone who has like a wide spectrum of BDSM reading knowledge maybe has a view that I don't have, so I just don't know. Like to me, I don't know how this could be called classy, but maybe in another context it is.
The BDSM was classy and light, she's saying.
Yes, yes.
This didn't feel classy to you. You like
No.
Yes,
It
you
didn't.
want a prefix menu. An expensive bottle of wine.
Yeah, exactly.
Some
Like,
vanilla sex when you get home. That's class.
that seems like more class.
This wasn't classy. Shared butt plugs.
Shared butt
And
plugs.
Elon walking in on them.
Elon
and then,
walking in, grabbing her hair like mid-orgasm and kissing her while she's on another guy. Not so classy.
Not so classy. Okay.
Right.
BDSM, oh, one more, Evelyn Hall. BDSM switches the heroine, and she's a badass. Love the heroine in this book, who has 2 lovers, lots of fun exploring both sides of the D/S BDSM lifestyle. Even though they don't call it that, she's in a polyamorous relationship with both men, and it's a very fun read. She's not wrong.
No, not at all. Wow,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it's fun to read those reviews.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm recommending Mia Sivan to our listeners who are those things. Horny for BDSM, into Israel. Also, it's like pretty lengthy. Like there's a lot to read here. And if you're
Yeah.
also, who doesn't love those names? Ilan, Ofer. There maybe wasn't an Ofer, but there could have been.
There should have been. Yeah, totally.
There were so
Tomer,
many names. There's a
Yaniv,
Tomer. Yeah.
Yariv.
Yariv. Okay. Here, you want to know what we're reading next?
Yes.
Okay. This came from you.
I
We
know.
are reading The Marrying of Chani Kaufman by Eve Harris. And we don't know if it's a romance, but it says, London, 2008. 19-year-old Chani Kaufman is betrothed to Baruch Levy, a young man she's seen only 4 times before their wedding day. All the cups of cold coffee and small talk with suitors have led up to this moment, but the happiness Chani and Baruch feel is outweighed by their anxiety about the realities of married life, about whether they will be able to have fewer children than Chani's mother, who has 8 daughters, and about the frightening, unspeakable secrets of the wedding night. Through the story of Chani and Baruch's unusual courtship, we meet a very different couple, Rabbi Chaim Zilberman and his wife, Rebbetzin Rivka Zilberman. As Chani and Baruch prepare to share a lifetime, Chaim and Rivka struggle to keep their marriage alive, and all 4 together with the rest of the community face difficult decisions about the place of faith and family in the contemporary world. Longlisted for the Man Booker Prize and selected as an Amazon Best Book of the Month, The Marrying of Chani Kaufman is deeply melodic and exciting story that will resonate with readers from all backgrounds and linger after the last page, says Publishers Weekly.
Okay.
Okay, it came out 11 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I'm excited.
I didn't realize it was, so it came out closer to the date that it's set, right? That makes sense.
2014.
Cool.
I can't wait to read it.
I
If you're
love it
reading
from-
along with us, that's
I
what's
love it
next.
from romance, so. I mean,
Yeah, I can't
unclear if
wait.
it's a romance, but it's definitely from.
Definitely from. Can't wait. Okay, so if you're reading along, that's what we're reading. Thank you to Mia Sivan for writing, crunching her numbers, and the whole series, which I'm continuing with. And this podcast is produced by William Levin, brought to you by Newish Traditions and Hanukkah Pong. Order your Hanukkah Pong on newishtraditions.com with promo code Hanukkah Erotica, HANUKKAHEROTICA. It's never too early for maneuver shaped beer pong. And follow us everywhere. Instagram, on anywhere you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review. DM us. Send us your Jewish joy box.
Whoever may have them.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for
And
everything.
good night.
Good night.